Yesterday marked the anticipated Clarity Act deadline, but here's what actually happened. The bill did not become a law. So, while we all know the Clarity Act passed in 2025 in the Senate, but it has not passed the House yet, and it has not landed on the president's desk. There's a lot going on in the world right now. The president's a little distracted, but once this thing does get signed, we're at an inflection point. Let me show you this chart now. If you look right here, this is TradingView. I like to keep the tools I use often right up here. If I go down here and mark this 135, look at what's going on with this thing. Look at the support level at 135. These are daily candles here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The other day I didn't count 9, 10, but those are pretty close. 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 out of 15 days have hit that support level. Something to be said about technicals on this type of scenario right here. Just think about it. The more times it hits a support, when it finally breaks through, it's going to run. And the same is true when it decides to bounce the other way. So we got two scenarios that we're looking at here. Now, let's talk about what actually changed with this deadline. There is no final regulatory framework yet within this Clarity Act. Uncertainty doesn't usually cause immediate expansion. It often causes this compression, what we're seeing. This is exactly what we're seeing right now. Do you guys see? Look at right here, the compressed sideways movement. If you zoom out on the chart, you don't see this pattern happening very often. Now, notice the lack of decisive expansion. How the price is compressing rather than trending in any direction one way or the other. Okay, this isn't that kind of behavior that we see on these breakouts. Now, and this is exciting. When you start looking at these things a little bit closer, we can clearly see what's going on with our trend here. And you can count the touch points within this parallel channel right here. But this is the main thing that we're talking about today, right here. This sideways movement. It's a compression. The more you compress that spring, the bigger it bounce, one way or the other, whichever way it slips out. Keep that in mind. If the Clarity Act had passed and been signed into law, immediately, you would expect stronger directional conviction, one way or the other, up or down. But the Senate debate still going on, people. It's aggressive positioning. It's carrying a little bit more risk as time goes on. And that's why I like to say if the technicals don't lie. We're focusing on the technicals on this thing and the volume. Okay, now it's A or B. Once again, if we see volume breaks above resistance, so we're going to call this 145 to 135. That's our range right there. If we break above that, it's like I said, it's going to be a spring compression that's going to go one way or the other. No, that's it, period. So if support fails on the bottom, it's another story. Okay, we got to see how long this expansion goes, and then if the breakdown to the bottom side. Until confirmation appears, the neutral to defensive positioning makes more sense than aggressive speculation. So we're standing by right now. We're standing by. And ladies and gentlemen, just to let you know, this dynamic is not limited to XRP only. We're seeing this across all markets. The broader crypto space is it's the SEC versus the CFTC jurisdictional tension is what we're talking about. So when the policy is incomplete, the liquidity is just unmeasured. The volatility often is just compressed. It's before we see that expansion. So it's not emotional. We're keeping close eye on the technicals. So the positioning implication right now is basically straightforward. Okay, we're not speculating on anything right now. We're going to respect this range. We're going to wait for confirmation and adjust when that structure confirms. That's what I'm doing on this end. That's what I want to share with you. This is what I'm watching personally. Okay. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hopsaw signing off. I got a link below for TradingView if you're interested. We're going to go from there one day at a time. Peace out.